Boruto's Jougan has appeared many times in the anime, but for some reasons, it's still nowhere to be seen in the manga. In chapter 72, Momoshiki said something that could be the key to figuring out when the Jougan will be unleashed in Boruto's right eye. Also, it seems like the awakening of the pure eye will occur before the time skip, and by the end of this video, you will find out how. So subscribe if you are new here and let's begin. In order to figure out the awakening of the Jougan, we have to form a connection between the current events that are going on in the story to what we have seen in the prologue scene. Right now in the manga, Code is ready to attack the Leaf Village while Momoshiki has told some heart-wrenching prophecy regarding the future of Boruto. According to the otsutsuki, Boruto's fate is totally dark and he is destined to fall prey to depression after losing everything. Earlier Momoshiki said that Boruto's attainment of the otsutsuki form has nothing to do with his dark fate. In chapter 10 of the manga, he even pointed out the main cause that will shun the destiny of Boruto forever, his blue eyes. The prologue scene on the other hand shows us a different version of the blue-eyed boy who has apparently fell victim to the unavoidable misfortune. The thing that's worth noticing here is that Boruto keeps his right eye closed till he activates the Jougan, and he ain't even wearing the headband in the beginning, which could mean that he had already given up on the shinobi regime. Momoshiki's true goal is to take over Boruto once he gets depressed by the misery of his fate, but it seems like the blue karma wielder won't lose hope so easily. And that brings us to the prophecy of Toneri, which talks about the eye of Boruto being the star of hope during the tough times. The Jougan, which is referred to as the star of hope, will awaken to dispel the darkness from the shinobi world. However, the main question is, what turn are the events gonna take that will lead us to this spectacle? This is where the code factor comes into play. The Jougan will not awaken in Boruto's right eye till he becomes completely hopeless. And since Momoshiki described the dark fate of Boruto in the same chapter, where Code brings out his 10 Tails warriors, it seems like this prophecy and this incident share some relatedness. Code has used a big brain tactic by mixing the iron from his blood while making these 10 Tails warriors. Cause if he hadn't done this, Boruto and Kawaki could have easily absorbed them with their karmas, since they would have been nothing but humanoids made out of chakra. Code along with his 10 Tails army could annihilate the Leaf Village, leading to a state of chaos and destruction. Unlike Kawaki, Boruto never had any formal training to master the karma. This would in turn make it hard for the blue-eyed boy to save his village, and he will hopelessly lose everything in front of his eyes. However, Momoshiki has promised Boruto to protect him every time, cause he can't take the risk of losing his precious vessel. The otsutsuki has thousands of years of battle experience, so it's very likely that upon fainting against the allies of Code, Boruto's body will be taken over by Momoshiki. The monster could not only defeat Code and his party, but would also bring more havoc to the Leaf Village as well. This would later make Boruto realize how dangerous he has become to the people around him. That would eventually take away his will to live. For the welfare of his close ones, he would leave the village and the shinobi path. The scar on his right eye and the broken headband will keep him reminding of how he wasn't able to uphold the honor of a shinobi. This would be the time when Momoshiki will keep on appearing in his dreams with a relentless endeavor to take him over. Finally, to grant some hope to his hopeless heart, the Jougan shall awaken. However, the awakening of the pure eye serves an even greater purpose than stopping Momoshiki from taking over. Back in the Leaf Village, Kawaki, who had been humiliated by the attack of Code, would decide to end the system of shinobis once for all. Everyone who would try to stop him would be sent to another dimension. Sasuke, the former mentor of Boruto, would try to stop the red karma wielder just to fail miserably. His final attempt to stop Kawaki would be to find Boruto and tell him how far his karma counterpart has went. Upon reuniting with his student somehow, Sasuke would provide him his cloak and sword, leaving the fate of shinobis in his hand. Now here is where the Jougan again comes into play. In the school trip arc, Boruto was able to wield the same sword used by Kagura without any formal genjutsu training. It's very likely that the Jougan provided him the skills and strength to wield it, as the Jougan is active in his right eye when he's using the sword. It's pretty obvious that Sasuke won't have the time to teach genjutsu to Boruto, and this incident explains how Boruto is utilizing Sasuke's sword in the future. This was the first theory for the Pure Eye's awakening, and the other two theories will definitely make you subscribe to my channel. The depression that Momoshiki has prophesied in chapter 72 will eventually lead Boruto to hopelessness, and the Jougan would be responsible for relighting his heart with hope. However, it's very likely that there is gonna be more than one factor behind the downfall of Boruto's mental health. The Pure Eye will help Boruto to overcome not one but many hardships. The infamous one, which is known to us, is the betrayal of Kawaki that was shown in the prologue scene. The foreshadowing of Boruto's summoning animal Garaga, who faced betrayal by his older master and got a scar on his right eye, could refer to the same thing. But if we think more about Garaga's prophecy, it's very likely that Boruto will face betrayal by not one but two people, or maybe even from his entire village. In the story of Garaga, it was his summoner come master who had betrayed him. So what if the same goes for about Boruto, as he might end up losing his right eye by his mentor Sasuke. A great reason to assume this is the promise of Momoshiki to not let his vessel die no matter what. So if Code decides to attack the village with his minion forces, Momoshiki would already know that Boruto won't be able to tackle them. To save the life of his precious vessel, the otsutsuki could take over Boruto, and by keeping in mind his combat experience, he would instantly win against Code and his army. But after defeating the bad guys, Momoshiki would not leave his body easily, which would force Sasuke to attack his byakugan, leading to the scar and broken headband. After this incident, the Konoha officials might decide to imprison Boruto, but he will escape the village and forsake the shinobi regime forever. The third betrayal that the blue Kama wielder would face from his Kama counterpart Kawaki could be due to one of the following reasons. The first one deals with the red Kama wielder's realization of how inferior and fungible the system of shinobis is, and his decision to reform it. Kawaki would look at the shinobi system as a conservative regime which belongs to the past. His main motive would be to empower the mankind with ways other than the shinobi system. The old scientist Amado could also have a hand in it, which brings us to the second possibility. If you are caught up with my previous videos, you must be knowing the connection between Hidan, Justin and Amado. If that theory comes true, then chances are Amado will force Kawaki to use his Kama powers and send everyone to some new realm unless they accept the religion of Justin. If Amado is also a devotee of Justin like Hidan, that would explain his vast amount of otsutsuki knowledge, and his main motive behind utilizing Kawaki's Kama would be to convert everyone to Jushinism, marking an end to the shinobi system. All of this would turn Boruto completely hopeless. That will rekindle his heart with hope. It's very likely that Boruto has worn his headband for the first time during the Timeskip fight, which would explain this reaction of Kawaki. The final possibility of Boruto's Jougan awakening deals with the attack of Code and the death of a vital character. In chapter 72, we see Himawari asking her mother if she must take the shinobi path to save her brother. Coincidentally, this panel was shown in the same chapter where these two events occur, leading to the possibility of a connection. So what if Code or one of his henchmen would take away the life of Boruto's sister? That would humiliate the entire Konoha village. Amado telling Naruto that his daughter passed away 12 years ago could also act as a foreshadowing for this major event, as Himawari will be 12 in 2 years, and the attack of Code could also take the same amount of time. This explains why he wasn't wearing the headband during the beginning of the Kawaki fight in the Timeskip. It could be the resolve of Boruto's mentor Sasuke which brought him back to the shinobi way. Subscribe for a theory on how Sasuke influenced Boruto to revert on the shinobi path. Make this video cross 200 likes and I will drop it after the next chapter gets released. Eventually Momoshiki's prophecy shall come true, turning Boruto self-destructive and hopeless due to the death of his sister. This would be the time the Jougan will awaken in one of his eyes, filling the life of the blue-eyed boy with some great goals. One of them being to revert his Kama counterpart on the right track, who was impacted so badly by the death of Himawari that he ought to end the regime of shinobis once for all. There is another mind-blowing theory of the Otsutsuki god being related to the dojutsu of Boruto. Check out this video to find out more about it. Don't forget to subscribe for even more amazing content, and I will see you next time.